In the last video, we saw how Joseph was sold by his brothers and taken to Egypt. There he served in Potiphar's house and was appointed overseer because of his loyalty and diligence. But because of a false accusation by Potiphar's wife, Joseph was innocently thrown into prison. Today we will continue the story. Joseph had been in prison for a long time, but God had not forgotten him. Even there, he carried out every task reliably. Soon, the keeper of the prison put him in charge of his fellow prisoners. For whatever Joseph did, God made it prosper. One day, two of Pharaoh's high officials were thrown into prison, the king's butler and the chief baker. Joseph also took care of them. After some time, each of them had a dream. Both were troubled because no one could tell them what these dreams meant. Joseph asked them, "Why do you look so sad today?" They replied, "We each have had a dream, and there is no interpreter of it." Joseph said, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell them to me, please." First, the chief butler told his dream. "Behold, I saw a vine with 3 branches. The grapes ripened. I pressed them into Pharaoh's cup and gave him the cup." Joseph replied, "The 3 branches are 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will release you and restore you to your position. Then you will serve him as you did before. But do not forget me and speak to Pharaoh on my behalf, for I am innocent." When the chief baker heard that the interpretation was favorable, he also took courage and said, "In my dream, I was carrying 3 white baskets on my head. In the top basket were fine baked goods for Pharaoh. But birds came and ate everything." Joseph said, "The 3 baskets are 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will have you hanged, and the birds will eat your flesh from you." Now it came to pass on the 3rd day, Pharaoh celebrated his birthday. He ordered the butler to be brought out of prison and reinstated him to his position. But he had the baker hanged, just as Joseph had interpreted. However, the butler no longer thought of Joseph. But after 2 full years, Pharaoh had a dream. He saw 7 beautiful, fat cows coming up out of the Nile and feeding in the meadow. Then 7 ugly and gaunt cows came and ate the fat ones. Pharaoh woke up and fell asleep again, and he had another dream. 7 ears of grain came up on one stalk, plump and good, and then 7 thin ears of grain that devoured the good ones. In the morning, Pharaoh was deeply troubled. He summoned all the dream interpreters and magicians of Egypt, but none of them could interpret the dreams. Then the butler remembered and reported to Pharaoh, "I remember my faults this day. There was a Hebrew in prison who interpreted our dreams, and everything came true." Immediately, Pharaoh had Joseph brought out of prison, and Joseph stood before Pharaoh and said, "It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh an answer of peace." After Pharaoh recounted his dreams, Joseph explained, "The dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has revealed what he will do. 7 years of great plenty are coming, followed by 7 years of great famine. Therefore, Pharaoh should appoint a wise man who will gather supplies during the good years so that the land can survive the famine." Joseph's advice was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said to his servants, "We cannot find a better man for this task than Joseph, for the Spirit of God dwells in him." And so he put Joseph in charge of all Egypt. He gave him his signet ring with the royal coat of arms. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Everything happened exactly as predicted. 7 years of rich harvest came, and the storehouses were filled beyond measure. Then the famine began, in all countries except Egypt. In the years before the famine, Joseph had 2 sons with his wife Asenath, the daughter of a priest of On, the firstborn Manasseh, and then Ephraim. As famine became more and more severe, Joseph opened the storehouses and sold grain to many people who flocked from all over the world. When Jacob saw that there was grain in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Go down to Egypt and buy grain, so that we may not die of hunger." 10 of his brothers set out on the journey, but Benjamin stayed behind because Jacob was afraid for him. In Egypt they appeared before the man who ruled over the grain. They bowed reverently before him, the man Joseph, but they did not recognize him. Joseph, however, recognized them immediately and remembered his dreams from long ago. He pretended not to know them and spoke harshly to them, saying, "You are spies." They replied, "No, my lord. We are 12 brothers, sons of one father. One has stayed with our father, and one is no longer alive." Joseph had them imprisoned for 3 days. Then he said, "Leave one of your brothers here. The others bring the grain home. Come back with the youngest brother, then I will believe you." The brothers agreed. They said among themselves, "This is the punishment for what we did to Joseph." When Joseph heard this, he turned away and wept.